Hey everyone, happy 2020. I hope everyone is having a good year so far. Last night I had went to a meeting that I know that they usually will have them on like Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And they're typically all in the same room, but I went to this group last night and I went to that room and there was a whole bunch of people in there I didn't know. And so I was like, well, maybe it's a different group on different nights. I'm just gonna go and have a seat and be quiet. And I started looking around and like they had like different things displayed, like on the floor. They had like these little like cards that they had set up that said like 1 day at a time. Is it really worth it? And it would have like all these different labels on there that are very similar to what you have in AA. So I was like, oh, this is a nice group. They got little decorations and stuff. Like I didn't realize that this group had so many decorations. So once they got started and they started going over like the preamble and stuff, I realized I was not in a Al-Anon meeting. I was not in an AA meeting. And I didn't want to be rude. I didn't want to just get up and be like, whoops, sorry, wrong group. I'm here for Alcoholics Anonymous, not Al-Anon. But the girl next to me like introduced herself to me and she was like, hi, I'm glad you're here. Keep coming back. And I'm like, thanks. I probably won't because I didn't mean to come to this meeting. And to me, I laughed just because I thought it was comical, but I'm glad that I went. I'm glad that I got to go because they did talk about a lot of things that we talk about in AA. They were talking about like acceptance and things like that. And they obviously are dealing with acceptance in a different way because it's somebody in their life who is causing the problems rather than they themselves are causing the problems. And so I got to listen to a lot of what they were saying, and I kind of felt like a wolf in sheep's clothing, sitting amongst everybody, just because they were talking about this one lady who is new. She's obviously in a bad situation, and she was talking about how she just can't accept it right now. Like she's trying really hard to deal with what's going on. She's just struggling just to, building herself up, and she was having a really hard time just accepting what this person is doing. And I was like, ooh, gosh, like I felt bad, but you know what? I'm really glad that I went, because if there's a whole other group out there that has to go to counseling or meetings or support groups or has to learn their own 12 steps because of me, like I thought it was truly humbling. It really was. Like, I felt bad. Like, wow, like everyone in here is because of the way that I act. Everyone's in here because of their loved one who is an alcoholic and the way that they act. Like, we really are such tornadoes that cause so much destruction in our family that we don't even realize it. For everyone in there to try and better themselves and have to lovingly detach from their alcoholic, I was like, oh God, like it was very eye-opening. Like I didn't realize that, I was causing so much destruction within those people. And I've been really wanting to get my husband to go to Al-Anon meetings just so that way he can kind of understand the program and how it works. And so that way he's more in tune with how the 12-step program is. And so I'm glad that I went. I went in place of him. I kind of listened in, and I did get a newcomer's packet just so I could give it to him and show him, like, this is the things that you need to start doing. Just take 5 minutes and read it. I'm just asking you, please just give it a look over if you can. If he chooses to go, he chooses to go. I don't want to force him to go because he has to do it for himself. He can't do it for me. But it was quite comical that, for me, I thought it was funny that I showed up at an Al-Anon meeting. But I'm glad that I went. It was eye-opening. Like I said, it was very humbling. Like, to think that these people are now having to go through their own program, go through their own recovery because of the way that I have acted and the way that, other alcoholics have acted. And it was a little sad. I felt bad, that because of my actions, it's causing other people to have reactions. But honestly, like, Al-Anon isn't necessarily just for, dealing with the alcoholic within you. It's also dealing with just normally daily living. One lady was talking about how her family wasn't getting together for Christmas, wasn't doing what they wanted her to do, but she had to step back and just be like, okay, I can't control everybody. Like, this, I have to let go and just let my higher power deal with it, because I can't do this myself. I can't force all these people to do it. And I just have to have the acceptance and the fact that this is going to happen the way it's going to happen. It's not, they said it was not a Norman Rockwell Christmas, but they still got their family together. And, as alcoholics, we're definitely neurotic like that. We try and control every situation. We definitely try and manipulate everybody in the way that we can. And so it's funny, to think about, like, other people are seeking support because they have that illness as well. And I know in the big book, it talks about how alcoholic is a family illness. It's a family disease. Just because, one person's actions cause everybody else's reactions. And you start to lose trust in somebody. You start to become neurotic. You start to wonder, what are they doing? Where are they going? And you really start to become paranoid about this person, me. I know my husband does. He gets very paranoid about me. And he has every right to do so. And I can't get mad at it. But I really think he should go. I actually enjoyed going. I didn't mean to go. Once again, I kind of felt like a wolf in sheep's clothing, but it was nice to see the other side of things, because you tend to be very selfish. You tend to be very wrapped up in my own thinking that I don't think about others, So it was a good mistake. It was a happy mistake. Glad that I went. Today's going to be a good day. I have a couple projects in mind that I want to get knocked out, and I'm going to volunteer my kids to help me. Well, actually, I'm volunteering them to help me because they can and I can. They're still little and they can't tell me no, so we're going to do it. But it's going to be a good day. It's a little chilly today, but that's what blankets and snuggles are for. But I hope everybody else has a good weekend, and I will talk to you soon.